not from Memphis either.
Yeah, but
I'm
yeah, you're from
transplant too.
Oakland, yeah.
Yeah.
Right, where you from?
Actually,
Yeah, Oakland. I was born in Oakland.
Actually, I'm
Oakland,
talking
California.
about Oakland.
Yeah.
I'll give you.
Grew up in LA.
I'll give you a little preview. The column I'm writing today is about Bill Barr coming here to basically resurrect an old ass program that didn't work before. And I think it's interesting that Jeff Sessions came. Why do they always keep coming to Memphis? And Oakland got a higher crime rate.
Yeah.
You know, they keep coming to Memphis. And I talked. He said, "Well, Memphis low hanging fruit. It's mostly black." And it was telling me
Good test market.
the message is for people who scared of black people. It's not really to help fix our problem. It's for like we're gonna help you. You know, that to me tells me it ain't really for us. You know.
Yeah. And how much time he got left anyway?
Yeah.
Bill
Yeah.
Barr.
Well, is he
Time
doing
got
coming
left?
here? Yeah.
Yeah.
You know.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Gotcha.
I always have problems staying close to the mic, so I have to be careful. I'm still learning. I'm almost good at this now, but yeah.
Okay. Let's do it
Yeah.
now.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
3, 2.
Hey, this is State Rep Antonio Parkinson of District 98, and I invite you to check out my friend Tonyaa Weathersby's amazing 20 minutes with, I'm sorry, not 20 minutes, just 20, right?
Yeah, 20.
Let's do it again. Give me a count.
Damn, bro.
You forgot?
Where you get that from?
You forgot? How did you forget? Okay, 3, 2, 1, okay.
3, 2.
Hey, this is State Representative Antonio Parkinson, and I invite you to check out my friend Tonyaa Weathersby's amazing show 20.
Stop. It's Weathersby.
Weathers, how do I
Weathersby.
Weathersby. Come on,
It's
bitch.
a tongue twister.
Look, give me a count real quick, man. Weathersby.
Yeah.
Okay, 3, 2.
Hey, this is State Rep Antonio Parkinson, and I invite you to check out my friend Tonyaa Weathersby's amazing show 20 with Tonyaa by downloading Kazukian app in the App Store or on Google Play.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Cool.
Some enthusiasm there.
You forgot?
I forgot. I forgot.
It took my cue card away.
That's all right.
Yeah, it's all good. What's up, everybody?
Hey, I'm here with my friend Touche.
Hey, y'all add her. Tell them what your social media is right now.
Social media is you can go to TJW. What is it? I forget. What is my doggone Twitter tag?
Tell them your name. They can
Okay.
look it up.
Okay. All right. I am Tonyaa Weathersby. You can find me on Twitter. You just do Tonyaa Weathersby. It's TJ Weathersby. I think it's TJ Weathersby. I don't know why I always forget my Twitter tag.
Yeah, put her
And I
name
got
in.
over 1,000 followers. That's not, but I have followers. I just forget it sometimes, and I tweet and stuff. But you can find me there. But most of all, y'all can find me in the Commercial Appeal. I'm a columnist. My column usually appears twice a week. And you can go there, but just go into the Commercial Appeal website, and there's a place that says Tonyaa Weathersby. Please click on it. I have some amazing stuff this week, especially dealing with the James Wiseman situation. So please, I deliver a dose of truth on that. So I need y'all to go back, go read it. I need go read that. I'm gonna have something up about Bill Barr's visit to Memphis and what it means, how we should look at that. And I don't know, but I'm sure y'all tell me what you think. But I'm Tonyaa Weathersby, Commercial Appeal columnist. I'm celebrating my 3rd year here in Memphis. I'm originally from Jacksonville, Florida, and it's been interesting. Memphis has a lot of potential. Got a lot of good people like Touche.
Right now.
Trying to get it to where it needs to be, but we just got some work to do, and there are some oppressive systems working here that are kind of hard to overcome. But as long as we recognize that and we work on it, we'll be all right. So anyhow,
That's
so
what's
we're
up.
about to start the show in a couple minutes. Whenever my folks ready, we're here in the Kazoo.
Tom, you see this dude right here? You gotta have that dude on the show.
Ricky
Floyd.
Ricky Floyd.
Pretty Ricky is what we call him.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, Ricky, holla.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, John Best, we're bringing Michael and Rhonda to you too, John.
Yeah.
Best is watching. Oh, Dub,
I need
cut her some
Michael and
slack.
Rhonda too.
You'll get them. Oh, Dub, cut her some slack, man. Her name is long, dude. It said, Lord, Tonyaa don't know her account info. Lord, it is like that. Yeah.
I know. I just can't.
No,
Oh,
we
my
got you. We
goodness.
got you.
Yeah.
We're gonna make her give her. She's gonna be a black market strategies account.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I mean, I just can't always think of it because I got an Instagram and I got a Twitter, and of course I'm on
Yeah.
Facebook.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
Yeah.
just use my name. Y'all
Yeah.
find my name,
Yeah.
just use my name.
And so all of them should say the same thing,
Yeah,
Tanya.
yeah.
Whatever those handles are, should all
Yeah.
say one thing.
Yeah.
All right, I got you though.
Okay, you got,
I
me.
you.
You got me.
Yeah,
We
yeah.
good. We good.
Yeah.
Okay.
They look, they're in the back. They say, man, let's get this show started. The show already started. Y'all late, man.
Okay. Okay. Okay, wait a minute. Segment 2, just say, because I already did the introduction. He already said he's glad to be here. Okay, so I'm going to just start with this week. Yeah, you were busy trying to get out the vote. I'll start with that part. That's where I'm starting?
You start wherever you want to start with me.
Just come into your show like you normally do.
Okay, all right.
We're back with
Okay.
20 with Tanya.
Okay.
You got the one and only.
Okay. All right.
Representative
Okay, let's do it. Let's do it. Okay.
3, 2.
We're back with 20 with Tanya, and I'm very glad to have my guest here, Antonio Parkinson, Touche. Y'all all know who he is. Let's start talking about something that you were really pumped up about this week, and we're gonna get to other things. But this week you were busy trying. I followed you on social. You were busy trying to get out the vote for the city council runoff elections,
Right.
which is a tough job because folk don't show up in runoffs. But apparently what you did worked, and we have 2 new city council women, Michael and Easter Thomas,
Right.
and Rhonda Logan, who's from your area. Rhonda
Right.
Logan, let's discuss a little bit of how you feel it turned out and whether or not this experience tells us, should we go to instant runoffs or not? Tell me how you feel about all this.
I feel pretty good about it. I always tell people, I'm while I want everyone to vote, turnout is not the biggest deal to me. If 3 people turn out, I want 2 of the votes.
Okay.
That's what matters.
Okay,
So but I do think people should have their voice in the process. And but let me tell you about these ladies.
Okay. Please
You
do.
talk about hitting a sweet spot in Memphis history, and this is Memphis history that has been made.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's real because
Yeah.
the culture of the city council is going to change.
Mm-hmm.
It's literally going to change. And we were instrumental in 2 campaigns, and it's a lot of work. I got my first good night's sleep last night in the last year.
Okay.
After that election was over, it was a lot. It was a lot to do, and a lot to a big burden to carry. It really was. Because it was a lot at stake. I told people, and I challenged people to do this. I want you to just look at your community and look at the blight, the potholes, the trap houses.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you got a gang problem, if you're hearing gunshots at night. And then I want you to go down Poplar and just cross Highland and see if you see the same thing.
Yeah.
And I challenge anyone. I told them I put $40 on your Cash App if you can show me a pothole on Poplar past Highland.
Yeah.
Now, and it's the
Oh,
same.
Memphis got a pothole problem too, bro.
Not on
Yeah.
Poplar past Highland.
Whoa, not on
Right,
Poplar. Yeah,
right,
not there,
right.
but yeah.
No. See, but
Yeah.
Memphis, if Poplar doesn't have potholes past Highland,
Okay.
then that tells us that
Okay.
we really don't have a pothole problem. We got a representation problem for getting the resources to fix your part of the community. How is it possible when the minority on the council lives or operates out off of Poplar past Highland, the minority on the council,
They lose touch.
but they're getting the resources
Yeah.
to make sure there's no blight, there's no potholes, trap houses, this, that, and other.
yeah,
And
what's
then
going on?
when the
Yeah.
majority on the council has all of the stuff that we just named. So there's a problem somewhere.
Yeah,
There's a
yeah.
problem. And what the problem was, because what you had 2 people that were part of the majority always siding with the minority to make them the majority.
Yeah.
You think about what I'm saying. You got 5 people.
I hear what you're saying.
Yeah, you got 5 individuals on the council that live off of Poplar past Highland going east, but you had 2 that lived where the potholes and the trap houses and the blight was on that side that were siding with the 5 on the other side to give them a majority. And when they got the majority, they get the resources.
Yeah. Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Now, I want to plant the seed with the council that maybe there needs to be an equalization period where the resources are equalized, and then you start it again, and maybe the majority should look at that to where, no resources go anywhere else until the rest of the city is equalized, until the community centers in Fraser look like the community centers out at Burt Ferguson, until the parks in North Memphis, Gooch Park, looks like a park out off of Poplar in the state.
One of the questions I had, being a newcomer to Memphis and seeing that Memphis is over 60% African American, and I ask people this all the time: why in Memphis, Atlanta? You listen to 20 with Tonyaa on the Kazukian Network.
Got the little plug in there, right?
Yeah.
Look, hey, Tonyaa, say get the plug, right?
Yeah.
I hear that comparison too. That Memphis is not Atlanta. Well, we're not Atlanta.
I know you're not.
But let me qualify that. Let me qualify we're not Atlanta, and I don't want us to be Atlanta. Okay. I want us to be the best Memphis, because believe it or not, culturally, a lot of the things that Atlanta does comes from Memphis. Because a lot of our people are down in Atlanta. You see what I'm saying?
But now, then you have to answer the question: why are our people going there? We losing. Right. Why do people end up going to Atlanta? They should be staying here.
Atlanta, Nashville, these other markets have things that they are offering that people want.
Wow.
Plain and simple.
Yeah.
Plain and simple. And so we need to have those things that people want also, and be able to offer them. Our biggest hang up is race. You have an apartheid type of situation here in the Memphis market. You got a handful of people with the money, and that are trying to control the majority that is African American. That's what was happening in South Africa.
Yeah.
You see what, and so what happened yesterday upset the apple cart, because the ones that were the apartheid controlling group got their asses whooped.
Whoa.
Yeah.
The apartheid
y'all better get the beat button ready.
Yeah.
Y'all got the beat button ready. Look, blame it on the Marine Corps. I'm a Marine, so
that's all right. That's all right. The apartheid, those are some strong words.
But
bro.
it's the truth.
Yeah.
One thing about the truth, it ain't gonna change. Until things change. It's the truth.
Yeah.
And it's unfortunate though that we've been living in these conditions. And I was reading something the other day, Tonyaa, that said if you don't make a change, you're making a choice.
That's right.
And so we have to get to the point to where the things that we are seeing, the blight, the potholes, this, that, and other, are unacceptable. And how you change that is you change out your leadership.
Yeah.
If your leadership is not delivering, if you're not holding your elected officials accountable, you're part of the problem, right? And so and you saw a move that happened yesterday. With the two ladies, Rhonda Logan and Michael and Easter Thomas, being elected. People are tired.
Yeah.
People are sick and tired of being sick and tired.
And a lot of folk didn't expect for that to happen. There was an expectation on the part of some that the turnout was going to be very low and that the status quo would be maintained. Are you surprised that people came out the way they did?
I am not surprised at all, because one thing we knew and understood was we were going in winning, and we were going to go in bold, and we were going to go in confident and sure that this was going to happen, and we were going to go in and do the work. The people we see they hire these folks, the cases and all them. They hire these folks, and they have no affinity with the people on the ground, and that's why they're getting their asses whooped, because the people are the ones that vote.
Okay, put a pin in that. We'll be right back after the break with 20 with Tonyaa.
Well, this Negro gonna call everybody by name and call them ass. I'm scared to walk. I'm gonna walk out the door right now while the daylight's still going on.
You said you from Oakland, right? Huh? You said you from Oakland.
I was born in Oakland.
He from Oakland. He from Oakland. Yeah. They did not care in Oakland.
You ready for number 2?
Okay.
Second.
All right. This next one we're going to talk about.
So let's do this. Let's come back in, and let's channel some of that energy he talked about. These groups. Can we get into that, into the piece where the courts ruled on the ballots? Do you want to go there with that?
Yeah, we can. We
want to talk about that a little bit, because there was a court decision, and I think it's still out there right now, where there was a couple of groups that were using the Democratic name.
Oh, I wrote about that. And you know what? I'm real disappointed that not a lot of people read my column about that.
Because
talked
because
about
what
that,
that is,
yeah.
it's a little bit.
It goes
kinda
over
up
the
there.
head a little bit.
It's kind of
yeah.
above
yeah.
you a little bit.
Yeah, yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with it. I mean, your
yeah,
First Amendment right gives you a right,
Yeah.
but to use, and I guess, the cohort or co-op, so to speak. So let's come back and let's go back in there with him and say,
Deceptive
look,
ballots.
Yeah,
Let's talk
just
about
talk
the
about it.
deceptive
what's
ballots.
your opinion on some of this?
Let's go.
On some of the deceptions.
Let's just talk about it. Let's
Yeah.
talk about it. We
Let's
do
do
a
it.
voter guide, so let's talk
Yeah,
about it. I want to
yeah.
talk about it.
Let's
Yeah.
see. Now, see, a voter guide to me is different.
Well,
than a ballot. It's kind of one and the same a little bit.
It's just a marketing
Yeah.
term that we use instead of so we can separate ourselves. It's a ballot,
Exactly.
But let's talk about it.
So let's come back. We're gonna come back and hey, we're
Okay.
back here with Tonyaa.
Okay.
Of course, I got the one and only Representative Touche Parker.
Yeah.
You ain't got to call it
Yeah.
for it. Just Touche
Yeah.
Parker. People know it. You ready to go? Let's roll. All right, come on.
Okay, got you in 3, 2.
Hey, we're back with 20 with Tonyaa, and I have the one and only Touche. I don't even really need to introduce him again because everybody knows him. And everybody just heard what he had to say. But let's talk about something else, too, segueing from this election. You know, there's an issue that's been out there. We wrote about it in CA, and apparently a lot of people didn't really, maybe it went over their heads a little bit. But this issue about the deceptive ballots, where you had a group out here with ballots that purportedly made it seem as if the Democratic Party in Memphis was supporting certain candidates. And there were a lot of concerns about that because some people took those ballots who were Democrats, went into the voting booth and thought, oh, all of these folks are being supported by the party, so I got to go along with it. Now, my column, I said, look at the ones who didn't get paid to have their name on something. That's the person who you might want to choose. But what do you think about all of that? What can be done about that kind of thing in the future? How would you process all that?
Okay, so let me answer backwards. The person that doesn't have their name on there might be the person you don't want that you want to choose.
Yeah, that's true.
No.
Yeah,
Let me
could
tell
be-
you why I
yeah,
disagree
okay.
with that.
Okay, all right,
because
okay.
they came in possibly to run a race with no money. You know,
Okay,
you can't run these races. You can't run these races without the ability to raise money.
Oh, yeah,
Now,
yeah.
let me explain. So the people. And
No, when I said that, I meant that for the person who had to pay this entity that made a deceptive ballot to put their face on the ballot.
The deceptive ballot.
Yeah,
Okay.
deceptive
So
ballot.
let's break this down so everybody understands this. So ballots came online back with the Fords early years ago. What 70s?
Yeah.
Somewhere around there. It was way before I was here, right? But the reason that they exist was because the Democratic Party wasn't putting one out.
Oh, okay.
Right?
Okay.
And they're still not putting one out today.
Okay.
To date.
Okay.
Right? Now.
Educate me.
Right. Now.
Yeah.
So, and here's the other piece to it. The other piece to it is cultural differences. Cultural differences. In white culture, they study those candidates and know who they are going to vote for before they pull up to them polls. You offer them white folks a ballot, they will flip you the bird in most cases. In most cases.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
Now, for us, unfortunately, in most cases, because I know this from experience, when our people come to the polls, they're coming, thank God they're coming because they want to vote. But they're going to, in a lot of cases, they're going to decide who they're going to vote for at the polls based on, you know, the pitch that they receive. And that's unfortunate because we would prefer, think about this, if every black person in Memphis studied the candidates, you wouldn't even have a market for a voter guide or a ballot.
You would not.
You wouldn't even have a market for it. So
Yeah.
the market was determining that these things exist. Here's the other piece that's vitally important. These ballots or voter guides, ours is called a voter guide, not a ballot. These ballots create what is we call a cooperative joining of resources, so to speak. So let's say if candidate A, B, and C and D get on the ballot, they then save money by sharing this marketing piece.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying? Which in turn, and depending on what services come with it, you know, because some, you know, say that we're going to put people on the polls to hand them out. You know, we're going to mail them out also. So now you got your name and picture and your likeness and your candidacy on this mailer that would have costed you $8,000, $9,000. But through this, the whole you being on here, period, you're getting the mailer, people on the polls working for your name, this, that, and other, for $9,000.
Wow.
You see what I'm saying?
I see.
And so, yeah. And
You're listening to 20 with Tonyaa.
we're listening to 20 with Tonyaa. Yeah. So now what happens then, all of the candidates get on these ballots, and these ballots are at the polls. The candidates have now created an opportunity where they can actually afford to run a race. Mm-hmm. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Just
And that's a conundrum. That's a conundrum because I see your point, but it also gets difficult for people. But it's still kind of like being part of the deception.
But see, it's not deception until let me show you why it's not deception yet. It's not deception to market candidates. Now, it doesn't mean that. Now, let me give you us for example.
Okay.
When we do our voter guide, we vet our candidates that we're going to support. Number one, you know that for a fact. Every single one, we sit down and talk to them and decide if this is somebody that we can support. Yeah. Okay. And then we allow them to, if their platform fits our agenda. You see what I'm saying? And then we say, okay, we're going to have you on there, and we're not going to have their competitor on there. Okay. And we're going to market you so you can win. Mm-hmm. Right? Now, once we do that, here's where the deception comes in. If you say we never say this is Democratic Party, this is not on ours. Mm-hmm. Ours is called, our brand is the official voter guide. Okay. It's not Shelby County Democratic Club, Democratic Party, Democratic Group. Okay. You see what I'm saying? We don't use that. Now, if we have all Democrats on our voter guide, we can list them as Democrats.
Oh, no, that's not a problem. But the thing is, they were saying this is the official Democratic Party.
Well, what they were saying was it's the Shelby County Democratic Club, Shelby County, what's the other one? Greater Memphis Democratic Club, and then
Democratic Party.
Right. So people were getting confused with that, but they also listed Republicans candidates on their ballot.
Well, but folks should have been able to, and they didn't have a distinction on there.
They didn't have, and now here's the other thing.
Yeah, that's
See, on this last municipal election, we told the people on our voter guide, we said, hey, these are nonpartisan races. So we're informing the people, we're educating. Okay. So it's on ours. Now the other ones. Ours wasn't in the lawsuit. Ours wasn't in. We didn't get nothing. Ours wasn't even involved in that. Now I did have a bone to pick, but I told them I won't talk about you without telling you first. Mm-hmm. Where one of the commercial appeal writers was writing about the deception on the ballots and had our voter guide on top of the picture. I'm like, damn, dude, we ain't even in the lawsuit. Well, you see, and so, but I talked to them about it, and we cleared.
Did they tell them they got satisfied? You got satisfaction?
No, but I talked to them about it. But I did talk to them about it, but that's the thing, and what would end the ballot deal is if our people vetted the candidates, know who they want to vote for, this, that, and other. Now we try to serve just like with Michael and Rhonda. We know these folks are for the people. Mm-hmm. Those are the people that we put on our voter guide.
They campaigned pretty hard too.
Oh, yeah,
they went door to door and did a lot. Yeah. Well, we're gonna just put a pin in that right now, but make sure you come back. We're gonna take a break. You don't want to miss the rest of this. Stay tuned. I'll come back at 20 with Tonyaa.
We're on 20 with Tonyaa.
20 with Tonyaa.
20 with Tonyaa.
20 with Tonyaa.
All right.
Help me out there.
I'm just trying to make sure you got it. Did y'all get that? 20 with Tonyaa?
20 with Tonyaa.
Y'all got it? All right. Okay. All right.
Cool.
Okay.
See, we had more voters than 20 with Tonyaa we've ever had.
Yeah, no, that's true. Yeah.
So check this out. Now we
got to talk about the legislative.
That's what I want to go into.
We got to.
Let's talk about what you and what Kelsey were talking about in terms of this piece. Of course, it's probably perfunctory now that the university's already said he's ineligible, but
it's not though, and I'll tell you why. But go ahead.
Yeah, so let's get that out, and I want to make sure that you talk about how we really need to make sure that we still push some of our kids to some of these HBCUs too. Can we plug HBCUs out there too? Let's do that, right?
Yeah.
I'm not saying that.
Yeah, because my introduction of Touche, some of the stuff I talk, but I guess that all still fits. But I got to get into this football thing because that's in the intro.
Okay. And, so let's go. We need to go into the sports piece, especially legislation y'all talking about doing. Okay.
Okay. Cool.
Okay.
We're good.
Man, you got producers and all kinds of stuff going on around here, man. sound man,
Okay.
and
All right.
We got the board. We got everything in here.
yeah, man.
We get you a
Sounds good in here.
Get you a show up in here.
Yeah. What kind of compressors y'all got on these mics, man? Y'all sound good in here, man.
No, we went to the Behringer X32
Okay.
digital producer.
Okay.
So it's got the compressors, effects all built.
Hey, let me get him all that stuff. He got a studio in his office, man. Let me get him all that
Yeah,
stuff.
right.
No.
Yeah.
We need to get him to come on down here and do a show down here.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Sounds good.
You
Morning.
need to get him on Funky Politics.
Oh, we got
Man,
it.
Yeah.
man, Larry Robinson ain't gonna have me, man. He been trying, man.
Look, I got you.
I've been
I
on
got you.
Funky
I'm just
Politics,
messing with him.
and
I'm
it's
just giving
fun.
him a hard time.
It's a lot of
I'm just giving him a hard time.
This is the third and final piece right here. Let's get it roll.
Okay. We count down. 3, 2.
And we're back with 20 with Tonyaa and my guest, the one and only Touche. Let me ask you something real quick. How you get the name Touche?
So I turned 18 in Marine Corps boot camp.
Okay.
Right? And my drill instructor said I look like Touche the Turtle on the cartoon.
You know, and I
Right.
thought it was like you be like fighting with a sword and you say Touche.
Right,
or
but that's what
something.
he was saying.
Okay.
And so, that was our one laugh that we got in Marine Corps boot camp, right? So it was perpetuated every day. Touche. Yeah, because, that was the only thing to laugh about
Yeah.
in Marine Corps boot camp. So that's
Okay.
where Touche came from.
Okay. Well, let's get to this recent thing that I was talking about. You and Brian Kelsey are co-sponsoring a bill in the legislature that would allow student athletes who make all these millions for university who don't go into the pros to get some compensation from the school once they graduate. And I want to talk about that a little bit because I think the situation with James Wiseman and Penny Hardaway has kind of amplified that whole situation. Tell me about how you came up with this idea and what is this, even though, Wiseman has agreed to negotiate, he withdrew his lawsuit, but I still think that there's a lot to pick apart from that, to go through that. So talk to me about that.
So growing up, I was born in Oakland, but I grew up in LA, and there was a time we lived in Nickerson Gardens in Watts, California, and there were these guys, right, that would be out there, in the projects, right, and they were making money off of these other individuals, right, and so the person that they were controlling would go out and do the work, right, and make the money, then that the person, and a lot of times they had a hat on. The person that had the hat on would take the money, right, and not give the individual that did the work any money, right. And if the individual that did the work tried to get some other money, some side money, they do something violent to him, right, or they punish him.
Wow.
Right. And so I later learned that was a pimp and this was a prostitute.
Whoa.
And so I looked at this. I compared this analogy. I said, wait a minute. So the NCAA in 2013, because I ran this legislation first in 2013.
Yeah, that's true.
And the NCAA made $834 million that year. Never snapped the ball, never pitched the ball, never swung a tennis racket or anything. Just a group of guys. They made $834 million in 1 year. But then they also punished somebody that year for getting $100 for getting a signed jersey. Selling it.
Yeah.
I said, damn, that's some pimps. Right. Yeah. So they're going to smack the athlete because he wanted to eat some lunch for a week and sold a jersey or something for $100. Y'all remember, do y'all remember quarterback for the Panthers? Was playing at Georgia. Y'all remember that controversy?
Yeah. But I think the coach at Florida. I'm Florida Gator.
Right.
I think Urban Meyer was the one who pushed that.
Well,
That's when Cam Newton.
Cam
kept trying to
Newton.
push
Y'all remember
that.
his dad was. Remember?
Yeah, was that? Yeah.
So I'm like, blank. You made $834 million. What the hell you mad at this man for selling the damn jersey for? Boy, you are a gorilla pimp. You see what I'm saying? And so I looked at this, and then I thought about it. I said, man, so if you remove the players from the equation, how much of that $834 million would they have gotten? Not a damn dime, right?
Yeah.
So I said to myself, self, we gotta get some legislation together. So we ran legislation that would say, that would compensate our student athletes somehow, some way. And it was through what we call the Student Athlete Grant Fund. UT made $304 million that year too, just on the football program. $304 million.
And the football and basketball programs, if I'm not mistaken, pretty much pay for everything else.
Pretty much pay for.
So it's like all these kids who come here, let's say predominantly white, sports, tennis, golf, whatever. You listen to 20 with Tonyaa. Those folks who come,
It just comes out of the blue.
Yeah,
I'm just-
y'all can remind folks.
Right.
But the people who come there, they come there, and basically, if you just depended on those sports, people don't come to see that, so that wouldn't
Right.
even support the program. But yet, the ones who do all of the kind of like the more physically exhausting stuff, that,
Right.
can't get compensation.
Right. And so what we said was, look, and one of the lessons we got from it was, y'all remember Tony Harris? Yep, blue chip All-American, played high school basketball, was destined to go pro, was supposed to do a couple years at UT and then go pro. And Tony Harris, I talked to him and he testified before the committee. He said, man, look, I had 2 good years, the first 2 years, and then, I broke my ankle. And then UT doctors cleared me to play, and I knew I was playing with moving parts in my ankle. And I didn't have such a good junior year, didn't have a good senior year, and then once I graduated, that was it. I was discarded. But guess what? I still got those breaks in my ankle. I'm still dealing with that. And the university is not going to do anything and has not done anything, to help. Right? And so I said, well, let's create a student athletes grant fund that says this: the universities, Division I universities, will contribute 1% of their ticket sales licensing to this grant fund. The grant fund would then be invested by the state treasurer. The revenue that's generated off of the grant fund from the investment would then go into a student athletes grant fund, right? So now from that grant fund, we would distribute money up to $50,000 for what we call Tier 1 players, sports, or student athletes, and that's in your ticket generating sports. And then your Tier 2 athletes will be able to receive a grant up to $25,000. Now, but they would have to graduate to be able to get that grant.
Yeah.
So it would encourage graduation. Those that go pro would not be eligible for the grant. You see what I'm saying? And if you only played 2 years, then it would be prorated.
You're a lawmaker. You're a lawmaker from blue. You black and blue in a red state.
Right.
How do you think that's going to come across?
Well,
What's the chances of that being successful, being black and blue in a red state?
Yeah. So we got that bill out of the first committee.
You'll be a game changer.
Right. Well, back in 2013, we got the bill out of the first committee and into the second committee. It was looking good. And then that university lobby start pushing back. Now, but it's a different time in 2019 because of the lawsuit and because California passed their bill in California, and theirs is different. What theirs does was allow them to capitalize off their name and likeness, and so we've added that to this bill also to the Student Athlete Grant Fund. And now we've gone a step further than what California has done with that. Now we've added the James Wiseman piece, which will stop any university in the state of Tennessee from discriminating against a player where the coach has made a donation to the school. Okay. You see what I'm saying? Now let me tell you why that's still relevant, regardless of what James Wiseman decides to do. We go into session in January. If we pass that law becomes law upon it being signed by the governor. And so if there is a James Wiseman situation in January, this will cover that situation. Those schools will not be able to discriminate against a player that's in that narrowly drawn situation.
Okay. You've heard it. You've heard it from Touche this week, and this wraps up this week's episode of 20 with Tonyaa. Thank you so much for coming here. Okay. All right. They're telling me what was I supposed to do?
20 plus 15 seconds with Tonyaa.
Yeah.
No. I wanted y'all to keep on talking.
Oh, I thought you were saying wrap it up.
I was saying keep on going because the conversation was very good.
I thought you were saying wrap it up. That's why I was here.
Wrap it up.
This is wrap it up. This is
Oh,
wrap it up. It's okay. It's okay.
I'm confused.
It's okay. No.
Sorry, everybody. I was confused. Okay,
the
so we
conversation
getting ready.
was-
Let's get back because we want to talk some
I
more.
want to make sure he got everything out of it because
Okay.
we talked a little bit about James.
Yeah.
But I want to make sure you got all of that out about why
About
the
James.
situation.
Okay, and then I think we talk about HB. I want to talk about this because I think for our
I'll
audience,
tell you what, let's
like
do
women,
this. Let's just do another segment. Let's do another quick 5-minute segment, okay?
yeah. And let's talk
so
about
let her
why
come
this
back in
legislature
and
will be
close that out. Let her close that out. Play it back for us. So, hold on, Tony.
Let's just do 2 shows. How about that?
But I want to talk about why is this legislation important to families of athletes, poor black athletes.
So, Tony, this is what I want you to do. I want you to close this segment out, but I want you to say, hey, look, we're going to come back with just a little bit more because this is a very important topic.
Okay,
Because
all right,
these kids need to know about it.
So I'm just going to say, stick with me. We're going to come back to this. This is a very important topic, and you all don't want to miss this.
I just want a few more minutes to talk to you about this,
all right.
or something like that. Let
right.
people know that that's not it, okay?
Okay, all right,
You got me?
all right.
So you're about 5 minutes.
Okay, all right.
All right.
Okay. Well, we're going to close this segment out for just a minute, but come back because this is a very important topic, and I think it's a lot more we need to discuss. Well, come on, let's do it again. I don't like that. Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah.
Take your time.
If it makes you feel any better, it sounds
Yeah.
good to me, Tanya.
Don't think you have to say a whole lot, you know,
Yeah.
just someplace you get there,
Yeah.
just get on out.
Okay, let's try it again.
Okay, 3, 2.
We're going to take a break, but stay with me. This is a very important topic, and I want everybody to continue to tune in and listen because it's really important.
What's the name of this show?
20 with Tonyaa. Stick with 20 with Tonyaa.
Let's end it right there. Then we're going to come back in with a short 5 minute because I want him to get some more out. And I also want him to end with the fact that you got anything that you want to go into the next General Assembly. Was it
Yeah, let's talk about
112th?
Yeah, yeah.
If there's something that's pressing that you want to push other than this piece,
Right.
is there one other thing that's really hot
Yeah.
that just got to come out of the General Assembly this year? Okay.
Yeah.
And then we'll wrap this thing. We'll put a wrap into it. All right.
Yeah.
Tony?
Okay.
You got 5 minutes, so let's get back into it. Bringing this back in, saying, hey, look, I want to make sure we finish the topic about James Wiseman
Okay,
because
all
it's
right.
very important. I think student
Okay.
athletes, especially
Okay.
student athletes that look like us.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
All right.
Okay.
And then we're gonna get in. We're
Okay.
gonna segue out
All
there and
right.
say, well, Representative, what else do you have out there? I know that's burning that you want to make sure that gets passed in this
Okay.
next General Assembly. Okay.
Okay.
Cool. You ready, bro?
Okay.
I'm ready.
All right. Here we go.
Okay, 3, 2.
Welcome back to 20 with Tonyaa. With my guest, Touche, my great state representative. We want to talk a little bit more about why this legislation that you're proposing is important to families of athletes, especially athletes who are from families that are poor. That's mostly black football and basketball players. They're going to college, might be the one hope that this family has of finding a path out of poverty. And let's also talk about what's on the legislative agenda this year. When you go back to assembly, what must be passed. First, let's talk about this Wiseman situation and how it relates to black families.
Yeah, think about it. Here you had a family that needed to move, that couldn't afford to move, and their purpose was for a brighter future for their child.
Yeah, I talked to an
Right.
expert who said he just think it's really beyond the pale that you got the NCAA making it hard for a black family to make a decision in the best interest of their child. And you have folks who have swimmers, gymnasts, who move across the country all the time to train with certain people.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you do,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
and it's unfortunate because again the NCAA is making all of that money off of these same inner city children that come into these into these games and into the college sports, and these children are not only are they not making a dime, and not only are they not. In some cases, they weren't even able to buy a sandwich or a lunch.
Yeah.
In a lot of cases, they can't get jobs. It's against the rules
They
to
can't
get
work
jobs.
over the summer. Yeah.
That's right. And so, but yet the NCAA is making millions of dollars. That's I don't mean no harm, but that's unacceptable to me.
Yeah.
And so this situation and how we are responding is long overdue. And let me close with this. State law trumps any NCAA rules.
Wow. Huh.
And that's the end
So
of
you
that.
can address it through the
right.
state, yeah.
If the NCAA, I think what we're seeing in the James Wiseman situation now is the NCAA trying to fix it. Right now, I'm willing to bet you, a sandwich that James Wiseman is going to be able to play this year.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the deal, what I'm hearing. Not hearing rumor wise, what I'm hearing intellectually wise is that they done cut a deal.
Okay.
Yeah. Everybody knows what the outcome is going to be.
Yeah.
That's why James Wiseman was able to pull his lawsuit back.
He's a good player,
because they
too.
know
He's
what's
good.
on the other side, how this thing is going to play out already. Everybody knows their role and know what they're going to do.
Wow.
Yeah.
Because I watched him play. He's good.
And
He got real
I
good.
believe he's going to play again.
Yeah, I think he will too. I mean, you had this family that just wanted to make a best
Right.
a decision. It shouldn't be that hard,
It's
but it's like
ridiculous.
everything is
It's ridiculous.
And I had somebody tell me, well, Penny Hardaway should have read the rule book and all, but I could imagine you wouldn't think that's a big deal. I gave it, as I said earlier, I told her, well, it's not as if Penny Hardaway bought his mom a Mercedes.
Right.
He didn't do that, you know.
Yeah.
It's just probably why he admitted, you know, yeah, I did give him a little money to move. So what? Didn't
Yeah.
think it was a big deal.
Yeah.
They had to go way back to 2008 to find a problem.
Yeah.
So, you know, I wonder what's going on there. So what's up? What's up for this year? And besides that piece of legislation, what other things are you working on that must get through this year?
Yes.
And how, you know, I'm always asking people like yourself, you know, just being from Memphis and trying to get laws through in a red state where they try to punish us for statues. They try to punish Memphis for a lot of things. They try to put Memphis in its place. How do you go into the legislature every year, having the assembly rather, having to deal with that mentality?
Well, you know, so you have high output lawmakers. Myself, I'm one. You know, Senator Agberry, you know, and others that put out or actually pass a lot of legislation. I always tell people, if you can pass one bill in 2 years in one session, you're doing very well up there. Period. You know, because it's hard to pass. It's hard to change a law. It's extremely hard.
Yeah.
And so, but we do 8. You know, or 7 to 8 bills per year, 9 bills per year that we get passed into law, and so you know we do pretty good up there. You know, one of the things that I'm going to focus on this year, I've already filed the legislation, is the Tennessee Crown Act, and what that is, it will stop people from being able to discriminate against black folks that wear natural hair. Yeah. And, you know, and that's a big deal. I was actually a victim of that. You know, I did 25 years on Shelby County Fire Department. I had my hair in dreads one year, and they were threatening to fire me.
Wow.
Yeah, they were threatening to
Jacksonville,
fire me. And not long
they,
dreads.
Yeah.
You know, about like it is now, about this length actually, and that's my natural hair. And they were going to fire me because
how your hair looks coming out of
it
your
wasn't
head.
right. It wasn't, you know, to their standard. And a lot of women, you know, deal with that. You know, if you were to wear your hair in braids or something, and they felt like, or an afro, and they felt like it didn't fit the look of their company, you know, and they you know, people, you know, get threatened, their jobs get threatened, but your hair is a natural extension of your race, you know, and so that's what we're tying it to.
Yeah. Well, you listened to another episode of 20 with Tonyaa, and with my guest, Touche, State Representative Antonio Parkinson. Thank you so much for joining me this week, and I'll be back with some closing thoughts.
Can you take closing thoughts one more time?
Okay.
Yeah.
Just closing thoughts is what she needs
Closing
to say?
thoughts?
Yeah, just laughing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hold on.
I'll be back with some closing thoughts.
Hold on.
Closing thoughts. I'll be back with some closing thoughts.
They did it.
Okay.
What you coming back with, Tanya?
Here it is, right
You
here.
coming back with some closing thoughts?
Here it is.
No, I'm just,
I already
I'm
did.
just giving you a hard time. I'm just giving you a hard
There it
time.
is.
I'm just giving you a hard time.
Read it. Read
I will
it.
say this.
Okay, I'll tell you.
This is probably the most interactive 20 Look, yeah, man, we're gonna get you before you go back to General Assembly.
Okay.
We need to get you in here and do
Funky
some
politics.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Let's
funky
do it.
politics.
I'll get you.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Give me your card so I make sure I
You
can
got my
get you.
cell number.
You're looking sharp. That too. I like that. I like that
Thank you,
outfit.
thank
You
you.
got it all. You got it all hooked up, man. Hey, everybody, come back to 20 with Tonyaa.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Y'all follow
Every
her on
week.
social media and follow her column in the commercial
At the
appeal.
commercial appeal, you guys, because we need the page views. Yep.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
call me.
Yeah.
This is a
Okay,
new
yeah,
phone.
wait
Yeah.
a minute, let me get off my live.
Yeah,
Hold on.
okay, I got you.